All right. So, what y'all think about these two episodes?
Well, I guess the number one dog rule is, never, messing with your friend's ex or whatever the case is. That's kind of like off limits. So if you decide to go that route, like you're really playing with fire at this point. But I guess he's really
Mhm.
stepping into his doggish, doggish ways.
That was actually going to be my next question. So, how do y'all feel about like if you got a relationship with someone and your friend wanted to date them? What's the conversation with?
There's so many answers to this question here because there's so many factors you got to take into consideration. It's this untold rules that you just don't mess with nobody ex. But then it's also this, how much of a friendship we had. Was there even a real friendship? Were we friends or acquaintance or like and then there's this, I don't know, it's just so much to consider. And then it's that whole thing where we're grown. Like, do I have to like miss out for the sake of these childish rules? Like, it's just so much to take into consideration.
Mhm.
And then it's like there's so many men out there. Like, out of all men, why go after someone that your friend dated? Like, is it really that serious?
I think it really just depends on like you as a person. Are you willing to cross the boundaries? Um, and the other person, are they willing to cross the boundaries? Because it could be you're the ex of like, let's say, you're like Ray, your friend's ex. She's feeling you and stuff like that. Would
Hmm.
you be willing to like, try it out, or is just like a no? Like it's just something I just don't do.
Okay, so I technically done that, and but it's like I don't. But I really look at him as an acquaintance, not really a friend, but he's a cool
Right.
dude. So, but let's just say if it's like my best friend, that's his wife. No, I would
Right.
never like. And he got divorced from his wife or something like that. No, that's off limits. If that's like my one of my best friends and like him and his girlfriend like been together for some time, no,
Right.
I wouldn't. I
Exactly.
wouldn't do it. That's off limits. So I think it depends on how. What do you consider a you and that person's friendship? All right, like y'all like
Mhm.
friends or y'all acquaintances? Because if you're acquaintances, then yeah, she's fair game. But I also don't want to be that nigga and be like, oh, he gonna take your girl after, or he gonna holler at your girl. That's
Once you let it go, now
yeah.
all
Like,
your friends real
keep it for
questionable around.
So she's single. Like you'll be like, so she's single, right? Like you don't want to be that dude because you look lame. But uh, also, if the girl just have some type of chemistry, I don't see why not you wouldn't jump onto that just to see where the chemistry goes. So I think it depends on friendship and depends on chemistry of the him and the spouse.
and the
Him
other
and,
person. Yeah.
yeah, the other
Yeah.
person. Because
It's so
if me and the girl didn't get along, obviously I'm not even going to try to holler at her. I'll probably be the one to be like, "Fuck that bitch," but not. But other than that, it's just like, um, nah. I, like you said, it's
And I
still
feel like
female.
that's
it changes as you get older too. Because when you're younger, you are considering some of these aspects, but as you get older, it's like, okay, does that even matter anymore? At some point, like I just need happiness. Like if that's the love of my life, I don't care if that's your ex-wife, your ex-baby mother. Like I need love, and I'm gonna find love, and if that's
Oh,
I don't know, but I think it changes so many different factors. Me personally, I don't think I would want to date someone that my friend dated. Um, I don't know. I just think it's messy. I don't think it's worth it. I just think there's too many men out there. From just speaking from
mm-hmm.
a standpoint, it's just too many men out there for me to be, for us to be going back and forth with the same man, especially if we all run in the same circle, and then I have to see you and him, and it can get really messy. That's why I don't have any friends. Thank God for that. But
And also, what if like all of a sudden he treated you like shit, but he treating her like a queen or some shit like that?
yeah, it's like
You'll be looking at you never did that for me, and it's just like
right. I don't know.
It's definitely an awkward situation.
It
For
it
me,
is.
I just can't. I don't. I might be missing out on a soulmate and don't even know it because I can't break it. It might have been my soulmate and I don't even know it. It's just something like something mentally just triggers. Like it's just weird because like you've been with this person, you know how this person act and how this person operate, and then like if I want to talk to you as a friend about something this person did, then we both can like understand because you dealt with. It's just that's weird. I don't want that. And
But
right,
it's so many scenario. I think like even with the ideal of, let's say I am feeling your friend and you guys used to talk. It's like, do you have that conversation with the person? Do you need permission? Do you have to like, hey, I'm feeling such and such. Is it okay if I dated this one person that you used to like or what? Like it's just too much that comes with that. So just go
that's true.
find your own man and start brand new fresh and without having to answer to nobody and make the situation awkward or and then some people are just not mature enough to let things be.
right.
Me personally, I don't think I would care so much if a friend of mine dated an ex only because it's an ex. I know I don't want that anymore. This is not going to go anywhere. So I don't want to stop your happiness for the sake of we once upon a time had quote unquote something, whatever it was. I mean, it wasn't solid enough to last. It didn't go anywhere. So I mean, I don't want to stop nobody happy.
Exactly. Same here. But I know me and your friendship just can't be the same. Like
I,
I'm just never gonna ever in my generation of life that I'm living right now be comfortable enough to believe my new man might not be your next man. But if you think my ex is your soulmate, sis, go ahead try it out. But my new man would not be hanging out with you solo. I might not be hanging out with you solo. But I understand you didn't want to lose out on the opportunity. I can't do it, but I'm not gonna stop my friends from doing it. It's just I have to like be realistic with myself. I just look at you different now.
especially if you go behind the person's back to creep with that person and not be honest and straightforward. Like you can
Mhm.
literally like do a lot of damage control if you just honest and straightforward from the beginning. And that's on
Mhm.
both parties. But when you start sneaking around a person's back and doing things that this is the person X and you guys are, somewhat friends, or even if you guys are just associates, the fact that, there's some sort of respect there, just to even consider you as associate. Not saying that you have to ask me permission, but it's just one of those things like you can do a lot of damage control if you just be straightforward and honest from the beginning. Like, hey, I'm feeling such and such, we're talking, and that is it. Like I
Mhm.
can't stop anybody from dating anybody, but don't be sneaky and do things behind the person's back and then
Mhm.
get upset if the person get upset. Like, come on.
It's because younger me, like it was like me now is very much more understanding versus
Right.
me back then. Me back then, it was like if you slept with your friends man or you dated your friend's man, to me you was just bottom level, like just bottom barrel type chick. Like I didn't even want you as a friend. Me
Mm.
now, I can understand, even though there's like 1,000 fishes out there, half the fish is gay. So it's probably hard to find a fish that ain't, looking at another male fish. So I understand. You might need to look at my old fish. Cause so, but me back then, I was young and I was just like, why would you do that? Like, there's so much people out there, and there's not that much no more. So I understand now.
Yeah, that ain't never been my thing until this day. That ain't my thing. So I'm just one of those person. If my friend dealt with you, I don't want you. I'm not
It, it's,
not in a disrespectful way, but I'm just not interested. That's just not. I don't want it.
it's never gonna be my thing.
Yeah.
I don't need me and my friend to be talking about your sex. I don't need me and my friend to be talking about things like, oh, you done bought me this. Oh, does he do this with you? Or did he do this with you? No, that's weird. I don't like that.
But see,
I
but
don't
I'm
need us to talk
mature
about each
enough to
other.
handle it. I'm okay with it. I, I don't know. That's just me. I'm honestly speaking. I'm okay with it. I can handle it. Because I already
Mm-mm.
know there's nothing there. Now, if you still have an emotional attachment towards that person, or there's memories that, that still has you in the loop with that person, then yeah, you're going to feel some type of way. But if you are completely 100% over someone, you really don't care what they got going on or who they doing. That's really none
Mm-hmm.
of your business. It really doesn't change anything on your end. But if you feel some type of way, then yeah, maybe there is
Yeah.
something there. And sometimes it's not
Yeah.
even about the guy. Maybe you feel some type of way because that's your friend. You expected more out of them, especially knowing if they knew the situation, if the situation was something serious. But you expect more out of your friend. So you might feel some type of way towards that friend, but I don't think necessarily the guy is, but
Okay.
I don't know.
What about you, Ray?
Okay. That's a yeah.
Would you feel comfortable, like, you know,
If
talking?
Live.
Now, ask that question again.
do you feel comfortable if your friend started messing with your ex?
Depends on the relationship between me and my ex, I guess.
Yeah.
If it's like someone that I dated and then I thought there was something there and there was nothing there, I wouldn't care. But it was like someone that I feel like I really put my all into the relationship. I definitely, me personally, yeah, I definitely feel some type of way. So
Yeah.
uh, there was, yeah, there was. I think I was. I don't know. I'll let y'all decipher this. There was someone that did date my ex, and we was cool. It was like
Hmm.
we cool. We had conversations all the time and all that stuff. And then once my ex broke up, like he started dating her, and like I didn't. And then like people used to come to me, was like, "Yo, I didn't know you date so and so," and I was like, "Yeah, I didn't. I didn't want a relationship out there because like I didn't want to get caught with fraternization." But
Right.
but I was like, as far as the other dude goes, it's like I don't have problems with dude, but I don't speak to him either. It's just like because I literally didn't have anything to say to the nigga. So like every time I saw the nigga, I just kind of like went about my business.
Here's a really funny situation. I had a situation where there was this guy that I met, like me and my friend girl was out and about hanging out, and this guy that tried to talk to me, and we hung out, kind of like talked and hung out, whatever, and he asked for my number towards the ending of the night, and I ended up giving him my friend's phone number. One, me and her was always together for the most part, so anytime you see her, you're gonna see me. Anytime you see me, you're gonna see her. So we were
Right.
like two peas in a pod. So when he asked for my number, and I don't even think at that time, I don't even know why, I don't even think I had a phone at that time. Oh, I don't remember what the situation was. Gave him her number. And yeah, after the night was over, completely forgot about him. Wasn't even thinking if he called or not. Really wasn't a big deal because it wasn't somebody that was like, oh my gosh, I want to move forward with this. It was just one of those nights you hanging out, you meet somebody, you talk, they want your number, you give them the number, whatever. But anyways, fast forward, I go pick up my friend girl one time, and then where I go pick her up from, I see her coming out of the house, and who house this girl is coming out of? That same guy's house. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, isn't that the guy at the club that night? She said, yeah. She said, I didn't want you to find out this way. And then she explained to me, he called you many times. Like he kept calling for you, but every time he called, you just wasn't around. And one time he called and we just started speaking. And
Damn.
speaking led into a romantic thing. And it led to them getting into a relationship. And she started sleeping with this guy and and I was like, what in the world? Now, mind you, I didn't even care for the most part because, again, I don't know this guy from a can of paint. There was nothing established. But that right there made me look at her sideways because I'm like, I thought we were better than this. Even if that was the case, you can't be honest with me about that. Like, I had to find out like this. But I'm like, hey, to each his own, But moving forward, I've always looked at her, in the back of my head, like, you can't trust this girl right here. This some slimy, like,
Girl, that's some a Jerry Springer type ish.
I was going to say the same thing.
I'm like, I can't trust you, but lesson learned, That's just to show you, but I wasn't mad at her. I mean, it didn't stop anything. I mean, I've always looked at it in the back of my mind, like this is someone I can't trust, and our relationship kind of, I wouldn't say took a turn, but I've just always known in the back of my mind, this is not somebody I can trust. Because if you're going to do something as petty as that, then I mean, what would you really do in a situation where it really matters the most?
The crazy part about the story is your whole thought process is her not telling you in advance. That this happened.
First of all, she never even told me the guy called, and I never bothered to ask because, again, I didn't care.
You forgot it. Like you completely, like he was like last minute. Like it was just like, oh, we was outside, and then you. But for me, it's the stem of the problem is the fact is, like, she literally got it. Like there are so many steps that happened into this relationship.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they were in a full-blown relationship. Not been around a full-blown relationship.
I'm like, I would have been done. Cancellation of friendship for me. Because it's just too much. Like at this point in time, like I already can't trust you, so I definitely don't feel comfortable. It's like now I have to question anybody I bring around you. Like, is you trustworthy? Because clearly you ain't. So for me, it's a no. Like, I won't do it to somebody, so I don't want it done to me. That's that loyalty thing we be talking about.
Not a loyalty thing matter. I see you bringing it up.
There's that loyalty. I ain't got to tell you. It's just got to be in you. And clearly it wasn't in her. So friendship denied. I don't want that. I don't want that for myself. So
she said no.
I don't want you to tell me like, oh, like this. First of all, you already know he wasn't calling for you. And so the fact that you just smothered your way through a little crack in the door is giving weird, and I don't want that for us. So I might have to go ahead and remove you from my friend list because I don't want people who just ain't like I shouldn't have to tell you to be loyal. It just should be in you.
But like, to me, that's not even about loyalty. It's just a matter of respect. It's just to show you that not only, first of all, this person can't have any respect for themselves, so I don't even expect respect for me. But it's just the principle of things. Like you could have easily done damage control if you was upfront from the beginning. but you chose to be sneaky and do things behind, your friend's back. And now,
Mhm.
even though a person is not going to be vocal about not trusting you, but you just left a bad taste in my mouth. And that is something I'm going to always remember you as, the little sneaky person that, whatever. But I mean, hey.
I've never had a friend like try to take a guy that I was talking to or talk to. I don't know. I already ain't got that much friends. So for a friend to do that to me, like that's first of all, I ain't got that much friends, and I ain't the person that's always in a relationship, like So I'm like, you have to go out of your way to steal a man from me. Like that's just you going above and beyond as a friend of mine to go find a man of mine when there's very small numbers to go to snatch him up. That's just doing too much now as a friend. So I was kind of lucky about that, but I would never do that to friends. Now that doesn't mean my friends' exes haven't tried to slide their way through, and I had to.
I'm pretty sure they did.
I don't even want that for me and my friendship. That's just weird. I don't want that. It has some cautions because they're in delusion that they would think I would. That's just that's the type of person I am. Like, oh, I think my ex want to talk. Oh, why would you even tell me that? That just makes me feel uncomfortable. You could have kept that secret to yourself. Why would I want to know your ex want to talk to me? That's just weird, and I don't want that for our friendship.
I guess. I think if they say that person really didn't mean shit to them.
Right, exactly. And that's
But then
also a
again,
level of maturity too.
Or
To be bold enough to say something like that, like, "Hey, my ex is checking you out. I
or
mean, he's a
or
good
to
guy
test
or
the
whatever."
water to see if I would if you would test it, crap. Like if would you be willing to take my ex? If you still madly in love, I'm sorry your man want me, but I don't want him. And not
honestly,
at
I would
all.
look at that. I would actually look at that like, well, you didn't like him. There might be something wrong with him. Like,
Oh, I know something was wrong with them.
yeah, you broke up. So, I also had a friend when I did break up with my ex. He said, I'm gonna try to shoot my shot with her, and I just looked at him, and I was like, okay. I just, it's just one of those things. I was just stuck. It was okay. And I think it was just like that. It wasn't the audacity that he had me. The fact that he thought he was cool enough to, the least, holler at her and see if he could get something. I was like, you ain't that cool. That's it.
Yeah.
So it was like, I was looking at him like, you ain't going to get nowhere with it. But at the same time, I was just like, I'm like, you really had the audacity to do that shit. I was like, wow.
No, that's just a bold personality. Even to for Shakur, it would have been like at least they was being honest from the beginning. For me, it's just too bold. I don't like that. Like I don't. I don't be honest with me like that.
Well, let me ask you
Don't try
this:
it out. Just
Would
don't try it out.
would any of you trust your partner around your friends? Or, well, this is a part two question, a two-part question. Would you trust your person around your friend? And if, let's say, your friend is dating someone and that person they're dating is low-key flirting with you, would you tell your friend that, or would you keep that to yourself?
So I can trust all my partner around my friends. I ain't got enough friends for to feel because clearly I ain't keeping anybody I don't trust. They already left. If I consider them to be my friend, I clearly would trust my partner, and I wouldn't think my now if my friend's man is flirting with me, I'm telling my like I have to tell my friend because that's just gonna make me uncomfortable, and I need her to know reason why I'm not showing up. Um, to like her spot, or I'm not, being around her on a consistent basis because your man makes me uncomfortable, and
Right.
like I don't want to just, I've been cool with you, we always hanging out, and then all of a sudden we 6 months deep, you barely see me, barely hear me. Like I might call you once in the blue moon, and you just like, damn, what happened? No, like I need you to know, like your man keeps flirting with me, and it's just making me real uncomfortable. And I don't know if it's just him just thinking he funny, and I already told him the first time, dude, it's making me uncomfortable, and clearly he not getting it. So I'm just letting you know, like
Six
you can
months
come
later,
over.
after you done missed out on so much.
Yeah, sometimes people don't notice a shift in the dynamic
Yeah.
because they be so deep in their relationship that they don't even realize like y'all not hanging out all the time.
What about you, Ray?
Ugh.
I don't know if it's the same for guys because I think for women there's this universal law that you just don't keep your man around your friends. Like you don't, you can not saying that you can't bring him around, but you don't leave him
Hmm.
alone with your friends or with a friend. And I don't know if the same for
I don't
guys.
think it's the same for guys.
I
Guys
don't
don't
think
have
so
a problem.
either.
They homeboy be all around they girl.
No, but there's some guys that are really sneaky and dirty. Like they'll flirt and, give little signals,
Yeah,
even
that's
if
why
they know. There's some
for
guys that are
guys,
really nasty like
they
that.
don't have, but guys don't have a problem with not having their girl around their guy friends, and
Yeah.
that's the reason why a lot of these guy friends be flirting on their homeboy's girl like easily because they always be having all their friends around their girl. They pop up somewhere and she like one of the dudes, but all his friends be wanting to smash her on the low.
That is true, but they'll never make a move, especially if they respect that guy. If they respect him
Hmm.
and they know how he feels about this woman, then I guess to some extent they won't try her. But
And
if you're
for us
if you're
girls,
for everybody, then yeah.
yeah, but for us it's just why our man is like if we're all hanging out with our girls, why your man there? It's just weird. Like he ain't got nothing to do. Like he ain't got to go to sleep to go to work tomorrow.
Not really,
Like
not necessarily, because it depends on it depends on the what you're doing or where you're going. Because if it's a girls' night out, then of course you're not gonna bring your man. But if it's an event where everybody's just going out to hang out or whatever the case is, and it's a place where you can actually bring your man, I don't think the attention is going to be so much on my man. I mean, you
yeah,
guys are
but
doing your own
even your
thing.
man will for some like men would naturally like remove their stuff. Like if you and your girls are all somewhere and everything, he the only guy there. He will find himself, on the wall somewhere, just chilling, watching you, making sure you straight and all. But he won't be like dead center, sitting right next to you or next to your homegirls and just kicking and like, well, never mind. Men back then, you know, they would just, but men now, they're kiki, start gossiping up, hold the conversation with your homegirls, have everybody laughing, comedian of the world. So it was definitely, there's definitely a difference from back then to now.
Go ahead, Ray.
uh, to answer your question, I do talk to my homeboys for, but not in like a flirtatious way. It's more or less it's just like try to get to know her because if you my the way I say if you're my homeboy's girl, then I gotta see what you about just to see what your vibe is. So I
Right.
usually try to do that. There's um, but I've never, like I said, I've never like really messed with like one of my best friends' homegirls after they broke up. So it's just one of those things. If she was to flirt with me, I wouldn't even know what. I probably ignore it. Tell you the truth, it's just like,
Mhm.
she's probably like that. But it's like if she's like that, I'm like she's probably like that with everybody. It's probably ain't even a big deal.
Right.
But I wouldn't. But usually, I wouldn't even be in the same room with my homeboy's friends. So that's how, like, not. That's how loyal I wouldn't even be in the same room with her unless my friend is in the room with her. So
Right.
if she's in the joint by herself, I probably wouldn't even be in it with you. But my friend be like, "Oh, I need you to watch over, in case something happens." I've done that before, where it's just, "Yo, can you look out? Can you look out for so and so while I go handle some business?" I've done that, but other than that, it's just that if, like I said, I'm like old school. I'm not messing.
Exactly.
I'm not,
It's
yeah,
you're
I'm not messing with
right,
my
because
best
I'm
friends.
telling you, these new generation guys, they would definitely sit right there in the middle of the couch in between all the girls, keying like they whole comedians. I'm just like, you don't feel uncomfortable? Like, to be the
No,
like, I understand it's a player thing because you're the only guy in the midst of 5 different girls, but it's just something gotta feel uncomfortable.
I think it's just it's one, I think it has a lot to do with maturity, and two, you got to know your circle well enough to know who you're going to bring around your circle. Like, I don't think you're just
that
going to randomly bring
that right there.
anybody around anybody. Like, you have to know your circle to know it's safe enough to bring somebody around. And if that's the case, then yeah, we all going to be chilling, having a good time, giggling. It's not going to be a big deal, and nobody's going to take it personal. But yeah, if you don't know
I
the
don't want my
circle,
man to be friendly. I don't want to see my man.
you're going to be with the factory man.
I don't want him to be friendly. He can be friendly on the wall. Just
I'm
make
in a
sure I'm well
relationship before.
protected. But I don't want him to be so friendly where all the girls just be kikiing and just smiling all the time, full teeth on full. Just I don't need that for my man.
Girl, you are so funny.
I'm in a relationship before. That's basically the only answer is good. He said that nigga better not be kicking on no other.
Exactly. I trust him being around, but it's too much. It's doing too
So do
much.
you? What is it? Is it that you don't trust him, or do you trust the women around?
No, I trust him. It's just why he needs to be so friendly. Like,
But see,
what?
there's a difference between being social and friendly. You can be social and not be as friendly, kikiing and flirting or whatever, but you can still be social where you can be in an environment where you're conversing with people, just chit-chatting, but nothing serious, nothing personal. That's just the environment. Everybody's just chilling, like, hey, what's up? Just a bunch of random, small talks, which is perfectly
Hmm.
fine. But when you talk about friendly, where your teeth is out the whole entire night and you're in
Only
everybody's
friendly ones.
face and you're, pulling people to the corner and you guys look like you having some deep personal conversation. Yeah, we're not doing any of that, but we're going to be we're going to be hanging out and everybody's conversing among each other. But we're
That's
not gonna have
different.
you in the, on the, I guess, the patio by the pool, sharing a drink, having conversation, and I'm not there. This ain't no therapy session. We're not having that type of event. But I mean, being social is perfectly fine. I actually like that. I want to be able to trust a man like that. I think it's sexy for man to handle himself in that environment and everybody has a good time. Everybody feels safe around him. And nobody feel like, come back like, oh, he was checking me out or whatever the case, unless you're delusional. That's a different story. And we're going to get you some help. But I think it's kind of sexy to be able to, carry yourself in a way where you can have a good time and the people around you have a good time with you. But at the end of the day, it's still a level of respect, not only for yourself, but for your partner and the people around, You want that person to be around.
Hmm. Yeah,
Right.
I want him to be very social amongst his male friends, and I want him to be very protective amongst me and my female friends. That's it. That's all I want from him. I want him to be a whole man. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
So funny.
I don't need him to be another sister for me when I'm with my friends. Like, I want him to just be a whole man over there. Just be that. Like, if they have something to say and they want to ask him a question, okay, that's one thing. But if he just being too social, he like, yes, girl. But sir, I don't want that for us. Cause these new guys, they be so social. Like, they be a whole nother like they like another female friend. You just trying to figure out like where did he go?
It's basically. Whew. Okay. Uh,
Y'all laughing? I'm dead serious.
I know you dead serious. So that's why. So I guess any any last words before we shut this down?
I guess I'm still growing up. I guess by the time I
It's
by the
it's
time
what
I
you
hit
want. So if that's what you want, you can.
by the time
That's
I
what
hit
you
another
want.
10 more years, my personality might have changed a little bit.
Hey, but you might find your match. So I'm sure there's a guy that's out there like that. So
He there. I know for a fact because I'm part of his rib cage, so I know for a fact he there. My soulmate is somewhere, and
Oh
he
yeah,
probably
that was my
standing in
last.
a wall somewhere, just real antisocial
Oh yeah,
because I'm the social part of him. So
that was actually my last question. I said, what was it? So do y'all believe in the perfect soulmate or soulmates in general? And what is that person to you?
I believe there's someone there, someone that was perfectly crafted for me. I don't know if I came out first or if he came out first. Um, my rebirth. But I believe there's someone there. I just haven't found him yet or know where he's at. But
Hmm.
he, you know, he might be waiting for me, or he might have already had a lot of experience. I don't know.
Okay. What about you, Shishiko?
I don't think there's a such thing as a soulmate. I used to think that once upon a time, but I no longer think that. I don't think there's one person that's created just for one person. I think there's I feel like there's no one person, but there's like the perfect will of God, if that makes sense.
Mm.
I want to dig deeper into that. What do you mean by that? So, I'm sorry. That's interesting. What do you mean by that?
I was lost. Like, talking about some eight. I'm still lost, so I don't even want to repeat what I didn't understand.
So what I'm saying is like, okay, I feel like I'm gonna talk about the scripture just a little bit. Like even in the scripture, right? They talk about how there are people God ordained for people and people that kind of miss their marks or whatever the case is. So I feel like and maybe in a certain season of your life, maybe there was somebody that could have been assigned to you. But if you miss that mark, does that mean you truly miss your forever happiness? Like I don't think that's the case. I feel like being God is unlimited when it comes to the blessings. I feel like even if there was this one person this one person that could have been your mate, and for whatever reason you weren't ready for that opportunity, you weren't ready for that blessing, it doesn't mean you're excluded out of that. Like I feel like maybe in another time, another season of your life, you can meet someone else that can be that one person for you. That person could be better than what the first person was going to be, or whatever the case is. But I just don't think there's such thing as a soulmate.
Mm, that's different.
Okay.
I feel like there is a destined partner for a person, but if that destined partner doesn't play their part, there will be somebody else that will play that part, if that makes sense.
Mm,
So it's the one who replaces your quote unquote predestined person doesn't mean that they're going to be less great than that person, or they're going to be better. I think it really just matters. I guess it matters based on the situation. The next person could be even better because life is about lessons. Whoever that one person is will love you unconditionally, and they will go through the ups and downs with you. So
mm, that's different. That's real different.
Okay. So that's one way of keeping hope alive. I respect it.
do you think there's soulmate?
That's different. I believe I have a soulmate somewhere. I hope he's still alive. I pray to God he's still alive. Oh, that's just me. I'm about to be real lonely in this lifespan if he done already left me.
Uh,
Or I just be married and divorced a lot. Just a whole gang of married and divorced. But I don't know. I think there's someone there that meets like every every individual line that I require, and like I didn't have to tell him about. It was just in him.
hmm. Okay.
What about you, Ray?
Do I believe in soulmates?
Mm-hmm. Or think that your soulmate is still there, or
Good question. Even though it was the question I put, yeah. Yes. Yeah, I do believe in a soulmate. Also, but for some reason, if Sh- if Shakur didn't say it, I guess I hope I'm not repeating it. I feel like people do come for a reason. People do come for a lifetime.
mm-hmm.
So I do. So you're just trying to figure out. I think as far as soulmate goes, who is someone that you want to spend the rest of your life with, and I know that's got to have a feeling that like when if you wake up in the morning, that's all you think about. So someone has to feel that way about you, and the same thing about that person.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I felt that way about someone yet, but it's just it could happen because usually it's one of those things where you won't know until it happens. So
Yeah. I used to.
yeah.
The crazy thing is, when I was younger, I probably was like in a state of delusion, and I truly, in my heart, believed I was just incapable of showing or producing love. Like, so I didn't think it was just not for me. It was just not in my like like Icebox. What's that song called? Got an icebox
hmm
where my heart used to be. I was like, this got to be me.
That's
But then,
that's funny because you was married.
hmm,
That was funny because you was married before.
exactly. And
So
that's why I was like, as you get older, and because when I was a kid, I assumed I was gonna finally get married at the age of 40, have my first kid around the age of 40, like because I wanted to live life first prior to probably get married around like 30ish, then have my first kid around 40 because you at least want to have a good time with your spouse. before, you bring in kids to the world. And so it was like, I just thought, I just didn't know how to love. But then you grow up and you realize that's not true. You just didn't find the
And
person to love.
And that's what I mean about why I feel like I don't think there's a such thing as a quote unquote soulmate. Because even when you hear the term soulmate, you're thinking to yourself, God created only this one person to be with you, and that is your soulmate. Like nobody else
Mhm.
on planet Earth can replace this one individual. And I don't think that's the case. I feel like just like with opportunities and businesses, you might miss an opportunity, you might miss your mark for a certain season in your life. But does that mean that that was the only opportunity that was going to take you to the next level? And I look at it the same with a soulmate. Maybe in that moment, I felt like I could have met somebody that could have been my soulmate, that could have been my destiny partner. But for whatever
Mhm.
reason, maybe I wasn't ready, maybe I wasn't mature. And same reason with them. Maybe they started dating somebody else because life has a way of interfering with you. You might have had
Yeah.
this, you guys might have, it might have been a situation where you were planned to meet and discover each other. But let's say this person got into a relationship, a situation, and time's delayed, and then you guys missed each other. But does that mean because I missed this moment, this person, that that is it for me? Like there's no more love, there's no more soulmate. Like I don't have nothing left for me. No, I think you can move on and put yourself in another position for another opportunity to come about, which means you can come across another person that could be that person for you. So, I mean,
Mhm.
soulmate is not ideally one person God created for just that one person. I just think your soulmate is somebody that you can encounter on this journey called life. You guys can come together and you guys can continue this journey together. And that is my soulmate. And we're going to make the best out of it.
That's so true. We done went real deep today.
I love it. I love it. That
I'm
was
saying. From the last
uh,
after party to this after party, we've been going a little too deep. I'm just
it's
throwing
like
it
you
out
learned
there.
something about you. It's like you learned something about yourself.
I feel like y'all shamed me from last after party to this one. Y'all put me on the shame block.
We didn't do
I don't think
nothing.
I ain't even know. It's like you like what you like,
Right.
so
Which is
it's
perfectly fine. We all
yeah,
three like the same thing, then we'll be fighting for the same thing.
yeah.
Somebody gonna be like, something ain't right with this girl. She gonna be single her whole life. What she looking for?
Uh,
Like I said,
I'm gonna
I'm,
tell you the
I'm
same
looking
thing I
for
told my
a
other.
mechanical man.
I'm gonna tell you the same thing I told my other friend. I said, "Don't worry, someone will look at you and want to spend the rest of your life with you."
Absolutely.
And that girl, and yeah, and that girl got married. So, I told you so
Mm.
at her wedding. So,
Oh snap! Look at Hope.
yeah, yeah, I know. Because she was just like I think she was saying the same thing you were saying. It's just like I don't know. I might be single for the rest of your life. I said nah. I said nah. Somebody will wife you up. Lord behold, I'm getting invited to a wedding. I said I know what the fuck I look at her like I know what the fuck I'm talking about. So, all right. Is there anything you think people can learn from this after party?
There's
Oh,
a few things.
it was a lot of things.
Well, the one I could say is just know what you want. Hopefully, it
Yeah.
comes to you.
Loyalty is based off of your perspective. or your, what you consider to be. We talked about that.
Right.
There's no one single term for loyalty.
Mhm.
We talked also about in regards to, perfection is not real. Soulmate, you know, technically it seems like soulmate does not exist. But I don't know if I'm saying it wrong. It's like, you know,
Yeah. No, you're saying it right. I mean, soulmate, there's no one person that was created for you. It's just there's a perfect will of God. And whatever that
and so
will
we
is
in
and
this was it
whoever's gonna take that
polynomous?
journey with you, then that's who's gonna take it with you.
What is it called? Polyamorous relationships?
A polyamorous.
Yeah. Is that what you say? We not just, tied to one person, but
No,
a
no, no, no,
gay
no.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. That's not it.
I was about to say I don't think any one of y'all like will
No,
want that
you know
as
what? I think that might be it. Because when you look at the Bible, it was a lot of that happening.
true.
So we might not be, tied to one person.
No, no, no,
Some
no,
of us
no,
might,
no, 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 no. So, no, no, no. Now you're taking it left turn.
some of us might be too much for one person. So, you gotta be split in half amongst, other people.
There is nobody that is just too much for one person. And if you are too much for one person, then you need to calm down. You need to gain you some self-control.
Man, you need to calm down.
Mm,
That was funny. That was real funny.
you know what's funny?
What?
Y'all just gave me an idea for next week's after party video. So
Oh, well, send
okay.
send send me with your thought. Oh, you looking for a video or is it? You not?
Oh no, I know what it is. I'll send it to y'all. For now, let's just shut this down.
All right.
But I will send it to you. I would like to thank, as usual, Material Life and Shisha Core for jumping on another after
I
party.
don't know. I like the after party. Even though I'm feeling
uh,
shameful, but I still like the after party because each one of the
don't feel
topics on the
shameful.
after party just is really good. From everyone that we have done has been amazing, and
Yeah.
everyone who has
Mm,
jumped on to the after party with us and put their little 2 cent out there has been very much needed. So after party is really nice.
all right. I'm glad you feel that way. So that's how you. So, but yeah, I'm gonna send y'all the video, but we can definitely talk about it. So, I would like to thank y'all for uh, jumping on in as usual. Tune in next week where we have another after party for y'all. So, this is your boy Ray signing out.